Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Scratching Post with Scratch at that gaming itch. It is the last Tuesday in the month, and I can only one thing, and that is the Comment Dense podcast.
Wow!
Yay!
Wow!
And I'm just getting the scene together so we can all appear to each other. Oh,
Hi,
hel-
Laura.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Shouldn't you be in bed? not
Not
that I'm complaining. Not that I'm complaining or anything.
Yeah,
I'm just looking out for you is all. Hello everyone, welcome. Yeah, we do love you. We do love you very much.
What time do you call this young lady?
Time to call this young lady. Hello everyone, welcome to the Comment Dense podcast, where I gather three of my friends and we comment densely upon the news over this past month, as well as I am sleeping or awake is another thing entirely. Fair enough. Right, so I basically gather my friends and we basically discuss the news in the month and also to pick a topic of discussion, which today is going to be physical and versus digital. But we're going to get on that at the end, towards the end of the show in the last hour. For now, I'm joined by Burr.
It's me.
Lemming.
Howdy.
And of course, Shadow.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. So, my name, of course, is Ebac. And so, we're going to hop off the immediacy and just talk about what we've been playing this month, then, everyone. First of all, let's start with Burr. What have you been playing?
Once again, I have 3 games prepared that I've been playing. Well, 2.5, because one I just started. So one of the games that I was playing is a game that was waiting for me for 25 plus years.
Oh. Bit of a wait.
It was that I finally got to play Final Fantasy VI.
That's been in your back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, question: Has it been waiting in the backlog for 25 years?
No, it's just it's just been released like 25, 28 maybe years ago, something like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've never played it. I've played a lot of other Final Fantasy games or other turn-based RPGs, but never Final Fantasy VI. And I wanted to know because everyone was talking about how awesome this game is, how incredible, how what's the word, seminal, and I really wanted to know, and I did find out. I suplexed the train. I did all the things that you do in Final Fantasy VI.
Yes.
And I absolutely adored it, and I loved it. It may not be the best game in the world, but I can see how lots and lots of games have benefited from the trail that was blazed by Final Fantasy VI, where it's showing really difficult, really serious subjects of loss and despair and even suicide.
But yeah, as Laura says there, as of the 20th April 2nd in Japan, FF6 is going to be 29 years old. So there you go, Burr. 29
hell,
years.
it's gonna be
Wait.
as old as I am.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost as old as I am.
Yeah, and also Final Fantasy VI is where that cringy meme laugh you always hear, that cringy, creepy laugh that you hear in creepypastas comes from.
Yes.
At least I got the laugh from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, that's from Kafka, which is really, really intriguing and incredibly well-written villain. He's part-time really terrifying psychopathic nihilist, and part-time a silly goofy clown, kind of like the DC animated Universe Joker. So
yeah, Shadow.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, in context, that laugh is actually scary.
Yes.
And unsettling. In
Yeah,
any
that
other
laugh is
context,
very scary and unsettling.
yeah. In creepypasta context, it's just silly now.
Yeah, but like this game is really, really something. And back then, 29 years ago, it would have just blown my mind entirely. Suffice to say, in the middle of the game, the world has ended. So, that was the game that did a lot of things as first.
Blew his tits clean off.
Yes, and it was absolutely amazing. And the other game that I played is a much smaller game, an indie game called The Gunk,
Oh,
which
Look
is
at this.
which is really fun. It is not very polished in places, but it's really interesting and nice experience that it has a bit of a Luigi's Scary Mansion mechanics in the sense that you have a Hoover on your back and you're hoovering the gunk, which is really nice and really relaxing.
Giving it
It
the
has
good
a
suck.
it has quite a, yes, you're giving everything a good suck. It has a lot of nice environmental puzzles that are based on the good suck, and it's really a lot of fun. It's the sort of single A or premium in the game for like 5 to 7 hours, but it's really good.
nice.
And I started playing, and I want to continue because it's intriguing me a lot. Immortality.
Okay, that's the
Yeah,
FMV game, isn't it?
it's the FMV games. It's non-linear. It has a lot in common with her story, where you're seeing pieces of videos and you
Is
can scroll. Yes.
is that the one that Jesse and Mike Santal did?
No.
Oh no, fair enough.
I don't think. At least I don't think so. So I don't remember whether they have. They might have. It's definitely a game that if you could check maybe
I am
in
doing.
Jesse's videos. But this is a game that won quite a few nominations at the Games Awards and the BAFTA,
Hmm.
and it's really, really well made.
Nice.
And I'm really intrigued, especially by the fact that you sort of focus on the elements of the scenes and you click on the objects and then you get to swap to the scene that this object or this character is taking part in, and you want to stick together the whole story.
Hmm.
And I can't wait though. I can't wait for the story to get further and to develop.
Yeah, I've had my Immortality for a while. That's what's on my list.
Yeah, that is the one that's on Gentleman's Gaming Club. So you're in for some. You're in for
Oh,
some
I'm
wild
glad.
shit.
I'm
Lemming.
glad because the Gentleman Gaming Club, they only cover really really great games.
Have fun. I'm not spoiling anything, but have fun.
Good.
Lemming, what have you been playing?
On top of my ongoing addiction to the Escape from Tarkov world that I've been, taking part in for the last few years, recently I've been playing a number of games. Myself and a few others recently delved back into GTFO. that game.
Did you
Oh my
live?
god. A couple of times.
Yay!
Most of the time, no. We
Oh.
got murdered by evil creature things. But yeah, it's a fun survival game. It's like Left 4 Dead, but with no chill.
Okay.
Like if you alert a horde, you will run out of ammo. There is no restocking.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
it's madness.
yeah, it's one of the things that I've heard about in terms of that. Anything else?
I played Cooking Simulator VR.
How was that?
I saw parts of that. It was fun.
It wasn't as bad as people led me to believe. Maybe the non-VR version is just janky and horrible, but I didn't have much trouble picking things up. Yes, they fell off the plate every now and then and was buggy, but I didn't have that big of a problem. I was just like moving it around and being careful.
That happens in real kitchen as well.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Things fall off.
realistic.
I think it makes more sense as a VR game than
Yeah, it does.
than it did like not as a VR game.
I made borscht. Let's
Be
ban
gone,
that motherfucker.
bots.
Thank you.
Because I am the soup master. Thank you,
yes.
You
Laura.
are the soup master.
You must.
And aside from that, I've on the Final Fantasy train here been playing Power Wash Simulator.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they released the
Midgar.
latest free DLC pack of Final Fantasy VII tie-in washing stuff. The first thing to wash is the 3-wheeled truck and Cloud's bike, and then it's some sort of big defensive monstrosity that I haven't finished yet, which is fun.
Going quickly back
And
to...
I've been playing the Doom mobile game, but I've not gotten far, so I can't really comment much.
I hope the haunted house that you find in Final Fantasy VII is also something that can be cleaned.
Going quickly back to the cooking. Please tell me you took the opportunity to do a Swedish chef bit while you're cooking.
Damn. I've never been able to do it properly, though. That's the thing. I've got friends who've been able to go to I can't ad-lib it enough. I've never been able to ad-lib it enough.
Simulator.
Yeah. Right then. Hello, Drifting. Shadow, what have you been playing?
You know what I've been playing.
I know. I know what you've been playing. I just like you to admit it to the camera. This is the part where we admit
Hello, I'm Shadow, and I'm fighting addiction.
Just gone. That's it.
That's it.
No, I have been playing Dragonflight. It has actually been quite a good expansion. I've gotten a lot out of it now. It has recently had a little baby content patch, which is like returns the Forbidden Reach, where you try and grind elites for most of the time, and I've just reached the point of the game where it's like, okay, so progression is now the gear grind, and it's like, no, I'm not about that. So I'm slowly falling off the wagon, and I'm probably going to play WoW tomorrow for the raid reset, and then it's probably going to be shelved until the future. Thank God, because then I can actually play some other games like Fallen Order that I need to play for my Game Blast obligations.
Yes.
Shadow is going to be a free elf.
I'm going to be a free elf.
And also Ghostbusters.
And Ghostbusters, yes. I have also I did actually briefly play some Brilliant Diamonds, like get back to that. I know I'm very behind the times. I play my narrative RPGs especially my creature collecting ones, very, very slowly. I take my time. I like to grind my team. I'm on the victory road for Brilliant Diamond right now. It's just and I've got to the end. I haven't beaten my rival yet, and I haven't got to the Elite Four. I'm just grinding up to get ready for it, kind of thing. And I might need to flutter my eyelashes very nicely at some of my friends to help me evolve some of my Pokemon.
Yeah, to admit, I kind of need to get back into. I need to find some way to get me back into Violet. It's like a brick wall that it's like I keep looking at it, it's like, oh, I don't want to play this. Why am I trying to play this? You know, and also whenever I do like it, it's like, I want to collect Pokemon, but it's so hard to find where they are, and
I don't want to play this.
Yeah, it's
kind of thing.
And it's like, there's no connection. Like, because I get out to collect every single Pokemon, because if I don't collect every single Pokemon, I'm gonna be like, okay, have I collected this or not? And like, if it wouldn't be an issue if the fucking connection with the stores, with the bank has been unlocked, or Pokemon Home, because then I could be like, that's fine, I just need to collect the Pokemon I don't have. But no, it's like, oh, damn it. Anyway,
also, I've a very, very friend has helped me pick up Pokemon Crystal.
Yes.
Very good friend.
Yes. Now, well, I've been.
Have you been playing?
What have you
been playing this week?
What have I been playing? So I finished off a game which I'm not going to discuss, which I'm very pleased that I got that out of the way. The one game which I really love about, I've actually, for the last couple of days, been playing Tashia. Since that came out on Friday. It was free on PlayStation Plus. I got Tashia, and it's been a great little game. It's a fantastic feel-good exploration game.
So cute.
I have touted it as like the wholesome GTA, because it does feel like that in terms of the exploration. Yeah, it has got this very big exploratory world, very kind of bright. It's colorful. It's very nice. I very much like Tashia. It's a great little game. Is it going to be a game of the year contender? Probably not for me, but it is still very, very good and very, very fun. I also picked up Resident Evil 4.
But
So-
you forgot about the most important thing.
What's that?
You can pet every animal.
You can pet every. You could not just pet every single animal. You could be every single animal in that game because you can
Yes.
you can
You
inhabit.
could be a kitty cat.
You could do a thing called soul jumping, where you jump into the soul of an animal, and that's actually a mechanic because you need to get a chicken egg, and the way you get a chicken egg is you jump into a chicken and then press the R2 button to lay the egg, and then you jump out and pick up the egg. So
Yes.
I mean, I hope that gets to be a meme on par with press F to pay respect.
Press R1 to lay egg.
Press R1 to lay eggs.
yeah, but not just that. It's
Also
like
shit as a pigeon.
you can shit as any bird. You can like do jumping as a dolphin. You can swim as a shark. With crabs, you can like use their claws. You can dig as basically every kind of animal has a mechanic with them, so that you can do things with them. Very interesting in that respect.
You could also possess a rock.
Yes.
You can possess a
Persona
rock.
can.
Now, what I like that is that there's ways that they utilize that in traversal. For example, you possess a rock, then one of your abilities is to yeet the thing you're possessing in a direction as you basically come out of it. So what you do is you inhabit the rock, you yeet the rock, and then as the rock is being yeeted, you re-inhabit the rock, so then you go flying with it to wherever you go.
It's like Just Cause, but wholesome.
Yeah, it's a very
Now, the
interesting game.
question is,
You can also become a jerry can and explode.
the question from me is, can you play a musical instrument?
Yes, you can
Yes.
play the ukulele. The ukulele
Yeah, always.
is, in fact, the ukulele is like your ocarina in terms of it can change the time of day, activate certain abilities, and of course there are actually several segments where you literally just have to jam with the tribes people. It's based upon New Caledonia, which is an aspect of. It's kind of, I think, a bit north and a bit west
I
of.
think it's Canadian, kind of.
Yeah,
Canadian region.
they do speak French there, so yeah, it's very fascinating, lovely place. Polynesian is what Laura said.
Polynesian.
Yeah, Polynesians, but also you can freestyle on that ukulele.
Yeah, you
which
freestyle.
means you can play Nothing Else Matters or Stairway to Heaven or whatever you want if you know how.
If you know how.
Or you can just let the game play for you.
Yeah, if you're in one of those jam sessions with some of the people, you can either go for it yourself, or you could just say, I'm too slow, I want to just enjoy the music, engage auto play, and the game doesn't even give you give you debuffs for that. It just says, okay, you just want to chill, that's fine.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just want to enjoy the show. Enjoy
Hey.
the show.
Great little game, fantastic little game. Highly
Oh,
recommend it, especially for anyone who's got PS Plus. High recommend to pick it up because it's free. Why wouldn't you not play that?
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
only on Epic Store for the PC at the moment,
At the
but it
moment.
will come to Steam at some point.
And I've also been playing WWE 2K23 because I'm a sucker for that game. I get it every single year. I've already made my
And
character
you
in
have
it.
obligations.
I have obligations. So yes, I'm looking forward to
Oh,
that.
the obligations.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing this past kind of.
You say that, Lemming. I'm the one who's had my obligation rolled on at least 3 times now.
Yeah, it's been Sky or no one so far.
I've been hoping that the next session I can just not be in the main spotlight all the time.
Right then,
See
shall
what
we,
the dice think, though.
shall we move on to the news?
I suppose so.
Okay. So I actually don't have a news topic. I actually do not have a news topic for myself this month because it's I've unfortunately been too busy recently, and I had some technical issues today.
We haven't. No, I razz you. I razz
No,
you.
that's the boss's prerogative, Shadow.
Yeah.
Although there is one which I think I could follow, but and that is that Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Seller TGD players face several union busting attempts, which is effectively so on fans basically, according to an article by IGN, fans of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Flesh and Blood and other trading card games are familiar with the eBay-owned TCG Player, one of the largest card buying and selling platforms in the US. They are currently unionizing, and they apparently got 136 people voting yes, with 87 to vote no for unionizing. This is a massive reseller of cards. So, but they are facing union busting efforts to try and bust said unions up, which is sad because we hate that shit.
We don't like that. That's no bueno.
Right then. So that's me out of the way. Very quick and easy, dirty and done. But we're gonna leave Shadow because Shadow, I think you got the transitory news this month, haven't you?
Yes.
Right then. So Burr next.
All right, so a bit of maybe more wholesome news, which is that one of the data miners that specializes in data mining vault systems and is responsible, among other things, for SteamDB, which is a service that digs through Steam API and gets out information like how much copies have been sold, how many games are being played, how many concurrent users, etc. Pavel Dundik, he has announced on Twitter on March 18th that he has found information that suggests that Valve is working on game notes for Steam. So if we need to make notes while we're playing, instead of like alt tabbing and typing it in the notepad or writing it down in actual physical notepad, we could just not alt tab, shift tab, and open the Steam overlay and make notes there. And those notes would be stored in the cloud together with the saves and all the other information. So we could access them on other devices or maybe even share them, which is really good idea because there's so many games in which either there is no way to journal things, no way to make notes, no way for the game to make notes for you, or the way that it's being done is not enough, and you need to remember some other things. Because, for example, if you're scatterbrained like me, you'll forget a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean
Or
this.
play puzzle games. You want to make notes and drawings and things.
Yeah, this is this is from the PC gaming article that talks about it on there as well. There's lots of news about, and yeah, notes for games. I'm surprised they've not thought about doing this before because yeah, the way you can just bring up the Steam overlay is so useful that you're like, okay, I'm just gonna have dinner. There's my notes. You know, it's such a useful idea. I'm surprised I'm surprised they've not done it before, honestly.
Yeah, that was one of the very few things that I really liked when I was playing some games on a 3DS, where I would be able to just pop out notes and just draw something with my stylus that I needed for the game.
The VR
and go back to the game.
the VR version of Myst allows you to do that as well.
Mm.
So yeah. Which makes sense because you can't exactly just keep lifting your
Yeah.
goggles up to make notes and
Yeah.
things. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I'm quite on board with this. I mean, what do you say about this, Shadow and Lemming?
Yeah, just
No, yeah, is good. It beats having to have many pieces of paper lying around.
yeah. I mean, I still remember back in the day playing Wolfenstein 3D on my dad's DOS computer and hand drawing the maps of the levels because I didn't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean,
Kids these days have it too easy with the in-game map systems and.
Notes. I have thrown away mine, but I was doing notes because in Final Fantasy VI I was playing them with dungeons that didn't have a map, so you have to draw a map.
Oh hell! Before save games, before save states, you used to have to type in a code for what level you wanted to play.
Yeah, and there'd always be those
write down
those pages in the back of like the manual where you can write down notes and things.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to those? Oh yeah, they got rid of the manuals.
Yeah, they got rid of the manuals.
Yeah. I mean, some games do offer you some sort of things like that when they either journal things or the mechanic is the journal or the manual, like in Tunic. But other than that, the game, like the game that unfairly got the title of the game of the year, does not have any journaling, any information about where you are, what you are doing, who you met so far. So, boo, indeed. and you would absolutely benefit from having game notes.
All right. So, was there more to that then? Where is that it for that news?
Yeah, that's it for that news.
All right, we're getting through them quite quickly today. Lemming.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take you on a saga up until the current day of how corporations are dicks and should be abolished and leave people alone because
should be thrown in the drink.
Yeah, because South Korean gaming giant Nexon issued a cease and desist against developer is it IRONMACE? I almost said Iron Gate. IRONMACE Studios, the developer of Dark and Darker, which, to those who don't know, is a medieval fantasy extraction combat game. Basically, Escape from Tarkov in a fantasy setting. They were doing free Steam-based play tests, basically a weekend to see how the servers would run and how the game runs. And they've been hit with a cease and desist. They're now completely off of Steam because they stole assets from a game, that Nexon was supposedly developing. Pro tip: they weren't. They scrapped the project, and they've basically seen IRONMACE doing well with this idea that they stole from Nexon and are now taking the lead developer and the game studio itself to court over copyright, over stolen assets, and various other skin deep, surface level arguments over the entire thing, such as a list of assets in the game that were stolen. 90% of them are that they've listed. 90% of the items that Nexon have listed as stolen items are off the Unreal Engine store.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Pretty hard to steal something that's there for everybody.
Yeah.
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 So, they're currently taking them to court and got the game and all upcoming playtests cancelled until this DMCA and court case are done with.
It's a political
honestly
maneuver.
wish Nexon a very happy become a laughing stock and lose.
Basically, all the evidence points towards Nexon being salty that an idea that they binned got taken by former developers that used to work for them, who then formed their own studio, and was actually getting vastly popular. 100,000 concurrent players during the most recent playtests.
That's like people making Paralives or whatever that other one's called, like Your Own Life or whatever it is. It's like those people making those games, and The Sims, like Max is getting real fucking salty about it, so they sue them. That's literally what's going on here.
Really, that they actually are suing them for that idea.
Yeah, they're literally taking them to court. Specifically the lead developer, but they've also DMCA'd the developer themselves. They've been raided a number of times by South Korean police, and they are completely shut down at this point in time.
Yeah, that is infinitesimally small dig energy.
Yeah, they're a small development studio of maybe less than a dozen people, and they're being raided more than once by the police. Please note, in each raid, they found nothing incriminating against them.
Wait, the police were raiding them
the police went to the studio
to seek for those assets? Did they know that those assets are digital?
No, they were also looking for servers and things. Possibly stolen from Nexon, which they weren't. The lead developer left Nexon after disagreements with the company.
I can see why.
They weren't being treated fairly. And during the working from home period of COVID, he was allowed special permission to use his own personal server. And they have then pointed on that. Yes, he was stealing our assets and putting them on this server. He wiped the server when he finished with the company.
Yeah, because that's normal company procedure, is to wipe whatever. Even if you like to wipe what employees give back or take or anything.
So they're currently going into the start of a court battle. They're going to be fighting this tooth and nail, and I wish them the very best of luck
Same
because
here.
everybody hates this idea.
Yes, and also I really sincerely hope, and I think it's already starting, that this game is gonna have even more coverage and even bigger reach because
Literally the
of the
Streisand.
publicity that this case is.
Yeah, because like
Hmm.
they're saying that all these ideas are stolen. The concept is generic. The actual base concept of the game is generic fantasy, but it's a survival looter shooter. Those are generic ideas to the point where going into the court, they asked, what's that AI chatbot that's been going on? ChatGPT.
GPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT. They asked ChatGPT to come up with a description for a PvP focused dungeon crawler, and the AI derived definition was almost identical to both Dark and Darker and P3, which was Nexon's concept.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you didn't get the thing that you wanted to. But
Yeah, the
them's
corporation
the
has no
apple.
evidence.
Yeah, but them's the apples. Like
Yeah.
ID could have been bought by Sierra a long time ago, and they could have produced Doom. But Sierra didn't go through with the buyout, so ID just produced Doom. Like,
Well done.
yeah,
Developers, you kicked the curb, picked up an idea that you dropped, and ran with it, and now you're salty.
yeah, exactly. I'm sorry,
Yes,
but them's the
literally
apple.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
If you wanted that game, you should have been developing it and not just binned the idea.
Oh no,
Yeah.
because they binned it because they had no faith in it. But now that it's
Yeah.
making money, then they're like, oh, but it was our idea first. Which,
But even then, it's a generic idea. It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah,
you
anybody
can't
can do that.
you can't copyright a genre,
no.
and that's
No.
what this is. This
Yeah.
is a genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite how much some corporations would love
Would
to.
like to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Out of those corporations, I can only give a hearty and heartfelt and from the soul, fuck you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please go bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely agreed. Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. No, I think you've spoken for all of us there. I mean, very succinct, and yeah, it's a bit shitty that they're doing that. So,
It's outright bullying.
it is.
It's what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
No dispute or debate right there.
Yeah.
Right then, let's move on to Shadow. You've got a news topic that is actually gonna can segue into our topic of the day.
Yes. As we all know, yesterday on the 27th of March 2023, the Wii U eShop and the eShop on the Nintendo 3DS closed. No more games can be purchased from it, and and a Library of Alexander has now been condemned to the ghosts in what is probably the greatest loss of video games in a long period of time, because some of these games were WiiWare exclusive and they have just poofed out
Boom,
of
gone.
existence. Indeed, we've also lost some ROMs from there, such
Really?
as, well, yes, because we had Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Crystal, Gold, and Silver on the 3DS games, which have now, if you didn't download them before the eShop closed, tough titties, you can't do that anymore. So if you didn't get those in time, then they've pinged out of existence, and it's come to the fact that a very dear YouTuber who we've watched and we have great feelings about, Gerard the Completionist Khalil, bought every
Oh,
single video game on the Wii U and 3DS eShops
what a
before they
legend!
closed.
What a legend!
Yeah, he got all of them.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so he bought 866 Wii U games and 1,547 3DS titles that included DSiWare, Virtual Console releases, and downloadable content, adding up to 1.2 terabytes for the Wii U or 267 gig for the 3DS. and he spent a whopping $22,791. And before you ask, well, what's he doing with these things? He's donating them to a organization to preserve these things, and hopefully,
Yes.
at some point, get some ROMs, to be able to be dumped. But the thing is, let me just point out, he shouldn't have
to be doing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something that Nintendo should have been doing it.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to be responsible for archiving and safety of artwork.
We've discussed this before. We've had this topic before about preservation on multiple times on this podcast. It's companies need to do more. I'm sorry, but if they can't do more, they need to create companies and release these things to companies that will.
Yeah, exactly. And if they won't preserve these games, they have no reason and no moral justification to be standing here and say, no, stop emulating our games. You can't do the ROMs. No. Well, if you actually preserve these fucking games like you were supposed to, we wouldn't maybe have to do that.
Yeah, but to make a little levity break, when you said like, what's Gerard doing with those games, you ask, I was really hoping you're gonna say he's not only beating them, he's completing them.
That poor
Every
man.
single one.
That poor man.
Poor man. He's so old. He's so
tired.
so tired, and he feels probably like 20 years older than he actually is at this point, I think.
Yeah,
Bless him.
Bless that man.
That man. He's amazing.
He's a treasure, yeah.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
A lovely human being, even face to face.
Yeah. At least there was one maybe good thing that came out of this. In like, if you downloaded the Pokemon Bank app on your 3DS, it's free now, I guess. It's free now forever. I guess you don't have to pay the sub fee anymore. But that's about it. But yeah, there are games that we've just lost them. They've just poofed into the air.
We've gone into the air.
All those games that dropped off the e-stores before people could get to them, they're gone.
Yeah, and also there is another bonus thing. Like I guess Mighty Number 9 isn't releasing on the 3DS. Not anymore, it ain't.
Right.
That was on the charts, wasn't it?
Was on the charts.
Oh god.
I can't do that no more.
So this is of course very sad news.
Release?
This of course is very sad news for the for this, because I would go on record to say this is the first time something has happened to this caliber to a console in what I would call the digital age. Naturally, the Wii store closed. Naturally, and other stores have closed since then. But I think this is the first time where a console that was part of the digital revolution has now closed its business.
Yes, because we had that happen. We had Sony try to close one of the PlayStation stores, but then backlash, and they were like, all right, we're just going to back away from that for a little bit. But Nintendo's actually gone for it.
They've gone for it. And I think that Nintendo, this is now presented an issue that Nintendo and companies are going to have to address going forward. So let's get into the topic for tonight. Topic for tonight is very simple. It's physical media versus digital media. Now, I want to put flags in the ground on where we stand on this. I predominantly am a very digital focused user. I can literally tell you the last 2 physical games I purchased. But I can grab them off my shelf.
Mine are all the way over there.
Yeah, mine are here.
Mine are here, but I gotta make sure I don't knock my A-wing off.
I'm gonna scooch a bit as well to get mine.
Actually, no, I know the ones I physically bought last.
So these are the last 2 physical games I purchased that are modern.
Oh wow!
So that is Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PlayStation 5, which literally the PlayStation 5 came with this. I've had it on my PlayStation for over a year, and I've gotten any game I've purchased on PlayStation has been digital except for this. This is the game I got with it, and this because the eShop was closing. Metroid Samus Returns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice there. Yep, I see Lemming's got his collection now.
That's literally it.
Mine
Those are the
is-
only physical games I've bought recently.
Go on.
I have
can't be asked to go.
unfortunately not bought any new game in physical copy. So the last game that I bought physically is this, which is, let me get it maybe somewhere that is visible.
Is that
This
like
is
a
a pen,
what's that?
this is a
I
pen
can see
drive
it's-
with all the Monkey Island games.
Aha!
Oh yes,
Nice.
mine is.
So it's kind of physical, but kind of not.
Mine is actually a little bit of a troll, but we'll see. So my first modern game, my last modern game that was physical was this little friend.
Pokemon. Nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I'm gonna put him back in here. I don't want him to be. I don't want my cartridges to be free. But my last physical game that I ever bought, I have bought, is this actually.
Warcraft 3.
Now
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
My one was actually Blazing Angels, which I bought when I went to visit you. But
Yes.
I didn't count that because it's an older game.
It's an older game. Yeah.
But it
So
checks out.
but it checks out. Now, ever since I got my PlayStation 4, about halfway into the PS4 generation, I pretty much unofficially switched to going digital. Any game I purchased digitally. I've done the same with my Switch. My Switch, I only have a handful of games that are physical media. Like I think it's Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, Mario Kart 8, and Mario Kart 8 pretty much stays in that thing all the time. Because that's the game I tend to play quite often, physically. Everything else is all digital. My PlayStation, apart from Miles Morales, and even that I've got a digital copy of because of political reasons. I'll explain a bit later. But effectively, any PlayStation 5 game, it's all digital. I do know, and I also want to point out, 'cause I think it's very important to do so, my Steam library is all digital because of course it is. I don't have a PC game. I don't have any disk drive on my computer. All my games are run digitally from that. I am very much and I very much believe in a digital future, although I'm aware of the drawbacks. Now I've established my settings. Burr, what is your current kind of, as it were, situation?
I mean, my settings is similar, which is I have predominantly physical copies of the games. As soon as I realized how many boxes of games or books or anything that I enjoy it takes to move houses, I switched to digital, and I'm only getting digital. I have maybe a handful of Switch games that are physical. Most of them are digital, and I don't think I have a single PS4 physical game. They're all digital. I have a few PS2 and PS3 games because they did not have digital versions back then.
I understand that. I think the PS3 area is really where they were starting to tread the waters, but it definitely was not like PS4 was the PlayStation generation of like, okay, any game you can buy physically, you can buy digitally, and vice versa.
And I'm definitely mostly digital, but the fact that those digital games that I mostly have are either on Steam or on Sony and Sony environment or Nintendo environment, and I really hate it for reasons that we're going to discuss. I wish I could have more GOG games, but GOG does not have as good an sort of gaming ecosystem as Steam has. So,
okay,
willing or not, we have to like cope with Steam.
Lemming, your position.
I'm basically all digital at this point. I still have the games I bought when I for the consoles I own that I don't have plugged in, I still like to own physical media, when I can. But the idea of a digital library just being there it's just too convenient to not just go digital, download the thing, done.
Fair enough. Shadow?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same with Lemming. I've mostly moved on to digital things, especially for PC games, just because it's so convenient to have such a wide library, like literally like right there, kind of thing. But I
They don't
still,
produce them anymore.
yeah, and I do pick up physical copies of Switch games, of handheld games though. If I can, because I just like having cartridges. It's just a personal thing of mine. Although if I'm really impatient and I'm not going to be able to get down to the store, or an Amazon order's going to come in time, I buy it off the store and download it. But the thing is, like, the one thing I really miss about physical media is the stuff that comes with it. Pretty much the I don't know where the instruction manual's gone, it's disappeared. But like stuff like this, tech trees and the big thick instruction manuals that used to come with it. I don't have them with me because they're all at my parents', but like I remember back with the dungeon keeper games, they would be little booklets, like little booklets that you could sit and you could flick through, and it would have information on the build, all the rooms, all the creatures. Some would have some really nice art in, like Dungeon Keeper 2 had some really nice pencil drawings in there, which I used to love. I mean, I would take them to school and sit and read them on the playground. I was that, like, you know how weird, like, maybe you probably don't know this, but weird little girls like to play pretend, okay? When I played pretend, I wasn't playing like princess pretend or a warrior or anything. I was a fucking imp from Dungeon Keeper 2. Don't fucking ask. It's a long story, but it was fun. It was fun as hell, and I particularly love the Age of Empires one, because they have the descriptions of all the buildings and the units and stuff, and then underneath would be a big paragraph in italics that would tell you the historical origins of it. Like they would explain how pikemen came to be, how they were mostly fielded by the Swiss and stuff like that, and like really really interesting stuff, like genuinely interesting stuff. And over time, instruction booklets got thinner and thinner and thinner. Like it would describe less. Soon it became more of just like troubleshooting and an instruction manual, just like, oh yeah, if you to install this, you do this, this, and this. If you've got troubleshooting, you've got this, and this, and there's like a
Here's
bit
the
in the
legal.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the legal
physical
thing.
copy
Here's
of the end user license agreement.
yeah, a couple of adverts maybe, and just like, oh, if you want to do a cheat line, if you want to contact a cheat line, do you remember those adverts for cheat lines in the back of instruction manuals and stuff like that? They were always there. And then it just turned into just a slip of paper saying, yeah, if you have a seizure, like don't have a seizure, that bad, kind of thing.
And here's the Steam code, and
yeah,
that'll be all.
yeah. Now it's just a slip of paper saying this is a Steam code, and I really miss that. I genuinely miss that sort of thing.
I remember like Westwood Studios games. I had all of them. I had Dune 2, I had Command and Conquer, I had all of the Command and Conquer series, and every single one came with a little booklet with all of the little blurbs for all of your units and structures, telling you what everything was. And this early copyright management, I had to hand it to them, because throughout the Dune 2 campaign, your mentor, your controller, you have to do this mission next, would come and go, there's a spy. We need to make sure that you're not the spy. Tell us this thing from the book.
Yeah, anti-piracy measures back then were really good. Like, even if it was just the code on the back of the instruction manual.
they were fun anti-piracy.
11-year-old me didn't realize it was DRM. It was just like, they need the thing. Where's the book?
Dial a pirate.
I found my game with the last proper instruction that they have, which is this Mortal Kombat Armageddon from 2004. 4 probably, and it has like description of what each element on the screen is, how to do the air combat, how to do juggling, how to do all kinds of fighting mechanics, like how to do online.
I will.
Or, what kind of modes there are. It's pretty thick. It's like 50 pages.
I will.
This is what instruction manuals used to look like.
Yeah, big thick booklets. I will play devil's advocate here and say that I think that there has been one thing which has been very good about those books going away, and that is that the games now actually tell you what to fucking do in them.
That is fair. That is fair.
And I say that because if you look at a lot of the older games, most of them didn't. If they had a tutorial, they were like you were lucky. If you didn't have a tutorial, you're expected to read the manual because it's in the manual. Yeah. So, like for example, I was watching a retrospective on Crimson Skies the other day, and the flight controls, how to control your plane and stuff, is all in the manual. It's never explained in a tutorial at all.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, those are games from the times where you have to count for every byte in the game.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
I do remember there is a Heroes of Might and Magic game. I think it's 3. It's either 3 or 4 where you don't get a tutorial if you don't have the instruction manual that tells you how to progress through the tutorial mission. You are square out of fucking luck. I remember. Yeah, I remember like bringing that game back. I was just like, I can't play this game. Goodbye, kind of thing. And that was big. That was before I realized that the instruction manual was on the PDF on the CD. Oops.
I mean, that also works because for Super Metroid, there's a run button in that, and there's like you do need to use that run button. If you don't read the manual, didn't know there was a run button, tough shit for you. Now, I'm someone who does believe that the digital future is a good thing. It's all there. You can download it whenever you want, in theory.
Yeah.
If I go on,
GOG titles come with the PDF of the manual.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they also come with the installer, so you can just download the installer and just have it offline if you need to.
That is the good thing that GOG does for digital games, and what neither Steam nor Sony nor Nintendo nor Epic nor anyone else nor EA nor Ubisoft do, which is they allow you to just download the game and install it on whatever machine without the access to the library, without the access to their ecosystem, without the internet. Just if you have a PC that can support this game, you install it and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah,
that's the best approach to that.
Because not everybody has an always online internet connection, Bethesda.
Precisely. And I think that's the thing is when you start to get into DRM territory, things get awkward. And I do agree that there are problems on the horizon. Let's talk about how I've got a Switch and I love my Switch and I adore my Switch. The way I play my Switch is that whenever I feel like playing a new game, I just simply download it. My internet connection is good enough that it can download that. I appreciate that not everyone in the world has such a good connection. I'm very privileged. That's understandable. But we're talking about an ideal world where digital is a viable method of consuming. But there's been talk recently, an article released, that the way the Switch's system is built up, that the Switch 2 may not be compatible with Switch games. Now, this is all speculation. I will point out this is literally speculation and ideas. There is no confirmation of this in either direction. So, how do we feel about that?
Well, I am annoyed and upset, but not surprised.
Yes.
Nintendo has a very bad habit of doing it.
Yeah.
Now, Nintendo has usually been very good about being backwards compatible with the last gen. So, for example, when they brought DS out, it was backwards compatible with the GBA games. Then, as it moved up, it lost compatibility. So, this will be the first time it's not backwards compatible. This would be the first time it would not be backwards compatible with the Switch. But at the same time, I'm just not surprised anymore because Nintendo is just antagonistic to the very notion of its legacy.
I
And
God.
because it doesn't respect people's time, it doesn't respect people's money, it doesn't respect like the amount of times it's thrown its weight around with emulation is just ridiculous kind of thing. And I know they have to do it, there are legal reasons why they must, but it's still irritating. And the fact that, well, if it's such a problem, why don't you give them to us? We'll pay you. Like, the amount of people who pay for Switch Online to get the GBA games, which I will when they release like Golden Sun for it. Like, it shows that there's clearly a market there. Like, people want to pay them to access these games, but I don't understand why they just can't give us this access.
I will hold my hands up high. There was a stream I did of Metro Fusion a few months or years ago. That was ran on emulation because I had no means of playing it. I have a copy of Fusion, but I have no means of playing it, and I can't stream it that way. However, now that they've given me access to the Nintendo Switch Online, yeah, I'll give you that extra whatever it is a year, and I can now play that. You know, it's a lot of it is convenience in the end of the day, and I think we're getting too much into like the preservation territory, but I do agree that
Sorry,
it's
yeah.
no, it's fine. I think they are connected. I think it's be stupid not to, and I'm gonna go on a limb and go further. I think it is 100% unacceptable that a successor console can come out and with a digital library and the library from the previous generation, which is also digital, is not compatible with that new system.
Yeah, I
I
completely agree.
Yeah.
there is no I mean, beforehand, you had the whole idea of like, oh, it's a different physical media. It's what we can do. Fair enough. Now you've got a digital copy on a digital hard drive. There is now no excuse for why that shouldn't be able to be played in perpetuity on successor consoles.
I
Yeah.
mean, even the Wii managed to run GameCube games.
Yes, and Wii U managed to run Wii games. So the only thing now that's stopping you from doing that, Nintendo, is your greed.
To
Yeah,
sell it to us again.
Yes.
yeah, it's either they're deliberately botching the. Well, I won't say they're botching the hardware. That's a big thing to allege. But like,
No,
it feels like they're monkeying around with the hardware to make it deliberately unplayable. For like, and it's just silly. And the thing is, like,
I'm gonna go out there for you, Shadow. I'm gonna say that I allude and perpetuate allegedly Nintendo that you have got planned obsolescence in this.
oh yeah, I completely, I wouldn't be surprised. They like, Nintendo has always been like a vicious, ruthless company,
Yeah.
and they try and hide it under a veneer of family friendly. We're a nice company. Nah, they
Yeah.
would tear your throat out in a second if
Yeah.
if it would
That's-
earn them just a single more cent.
That's been companies and corporations for centuries now.
Yes.
I mean,
Ever since they started existing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at warfare. These same companies that make tanks were the same companies during World War II that made cars. They can put a tank together that is now in a museum and still in one piece, almost a century later, but they can't make a car that the bumper doesn't fall off of after 5 years.
Stupid.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is, the reason I say this is because the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series One, although I don't have an Xbox One, so I can't. But as far as I'm aware, it's very similar. Where
Yeah.
if I were to play a PlayStation 4 game, I can boot up my PlayStation 5 and download it. There's only a handful of games that don't work. I think that's because of, and to be fair, it's one of those things where there's 10 in the entire library, and it's like, well, that is, you know,
Yeah, 10 out of God knows how much in
God knows
in
how
the,
many.
Sucks, but there you go.
Basically,
Yeah.
all my games I've got physical copies, which is why I got disc edition, and also the digital copies which I've got of my games. I can play any and all of them on my PlayStation 5, no hassle, no fassle. And again, I don't see how in 10 years' time, when I've got a PlayStation 6 or a PlayStation 7, I shouldn't be able to play my PlayStation 4, 5, and so on games on that console as well, unless you deliberately plan on obsolescence in this. Because that's the thing, is that with the whole physical media things, you had problems. You had the whole transition. We're now in a digital feature. I think that if we're going towards a digital library, which is where things are heading down, I mean, the last console generation launched literally without disk drives as options, so we are heading in that direction. I think we need to basically nail down to companies, it is unacceptable that a successor console cannot run previous games.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I
even sorry,
no,
go
you
ahead.
first, Spur. You first.
Okay, because I wanted to add to a bit to Nintendo, a bit to Sony. Like, even if it's not planned obsolescence, it's often a dilemma that the designers have to. Do we spend a bit more time and money to make sure that we can that we are compatible with the previous generations, or do we not? And maybe maybe instead of spending time and money to be more pro-consumer, we can forget that, save the time and money, and maybe milk the consumers a bit more of the money based on the nostalgia for the games that we can release again.
Yeah, but it's stupid though,
It is
because
stupid.
there's a long tail. There's a long tail for just having it be compatible with the current software, and
Yeah, but
And you're still
yeah,
gonna
I know what you
yeah.
mean,
and
but
if
there's less time.
Mm,
if you really want to sell it, then make a remaster and sell me the
yeah.
remaster. If I think it's a good enough improvement and you've actually done something with it, I'll buy it. You know, it's
Yeah.
simple.
Unfortunately, another thing that corporations are known of is is that they're only looking at
I know.
the temporary growth, immediate revenue. Like, they will fire dozens or hundreds of people so that the bars go up, and they will hire people 2 weeks later
I
My
s-
because
God, that
they
should be
need them
illegal.
again.
I
Yeah,
still say so. Go on to know.
I was going to say, just as a quick tangent, did you know there are
Mm,
actually fake job listings out there? It's to have an illusion that the
mm,
company is growing.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
now I
We'll never actually interview anybody for those positions.
Yeah.
I will also posit this, that I actually think that it works out financially for them as well.
Yeah.
And I say
I
that because people say, "Well, how does that work?" Because they can't resell you the games. No, but here's the thing: gamers are being born every single day. You know, imagine, but a couple of years ago, I introduced you to Super Metroid.
Yes.
What if you could actually go onto your Switch today and say, "Super Metroid, it's £5, I'll buy it."
Yeah. I mean, I would
Exactly,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
It's a very good game. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's you with Symphony of the Night, Al.
Exactly. When you say the
Yeah.
night, if I go on there and just buy it for £5, I'll buy it, because
Yeah.
that's the thing, is that there are people who had never even played these games because they never had that console, but
Yeah.
then hear about, well, there was this great game in this era that was called
Yeah.
this. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll go into the library. Oh, I can
Yeah.
actually buy it. I'll buy it and play it. £5.
Yeah.
That's extra. That's yep. Go on.
Until Wii Nintendo was not a thing in Poland. We've never heard of we've I've only heard of Smash Brothers like 5 years ago for the first time, which is actually the best selling fighting game
Mm,
ever
yeah.
and the most popular. So, I have a whole list of Nintendo games that are newer than Super Mario Brothers, but older than the Wii games that I've
Mm.
never seen or played, and I would absolutely play them.
Because this is the big disadvantage with digital media that people foresee, is the idea that suddenly your library can just disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
my main worry.
yeah, exactly. If there's no backups, then we're fucked. I mean, the infamous example of PT just gone in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
second.
Or just
Yeah.
let's look at an extreme example. Steam. Thanks to the main issue I have with digital only libraries is that we don't own the games we've bought.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We own
That's
licenses to play the games
Mm.
we've bought.
Yeah.
So if Steam, dare I say it, went bust tonight
Mm.
and shut down their services,
We are fucked.
We're done.
Yeah.
All those games that we don't have downloaded right now on our hard drives right now are gone.
Those games we have downloaded will also be gone because they require
we still have
the
Steam.
servers.
I would
Steam
say
has an offline mode.
I would say yes and no, because we've never been in a situation where a company like this has gone out of business. In terms of a massive library like this, I mean, we've had them shut down libraries, as in with Nintendo and this, which is why we're discussing this. But that's very different from a company going under, because companies can then come in and say, "Well, we'll buy that," and suddenly you've got a lifeline being thrown to you. So until that actually does happen, I don't know if we can say that definitely would. It is definitely a worry, and I will say it's a concern. But at the same time, I feel like in that situation, someone would step in.
Oh yeah, it's a very slim chance of it
Mm.
actually coming to pass. But at the same time, people said that about banks closing.
That's true.
Oh, it'll never happen.
I mean, sorry, go ahead, Shannon.
I was just gonna say we still need to test in court. Like, do we actually own?
Do we actually own this? Yeah.
Because I can see like an argument being made, like, no, you're just renting the license, kind of thing.
Yeah, and also
you paid for a license to play. That's it.
Also, the only thing standing between us and not having those games is the faith that there will be someone who steps in.
Yeah, that's true.
And takes it over, or that the company will not go bankrupt. Or they will not decide to turn it off.
By the way, audience, feel free to weigh in on your own opinions in the chat. This is not just a limited discussion just between the four of us. You can, of course, weigh in and offer your own opinions on the situation.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say, like, I know why this isn't a thing, because this is the same reason why NFTs will never work in video games. I'm sorry, crypto bros, just fucking accept it. But I'm still so very fucking annoyed that if I buy a game on if I buy like a game on Steam, I cannot transfer it from store to store to store. Like, if I've got like I've got Stellaris on GOG with multiple expansions, but I cannot transfer Stellaris with those multiple expansions onto Steam, even though I've already brought them, kind of thing. I've got Stellaris with multiple expansions on GOG, but I have Stellaris base game only with the full soundtrack on Steam, and I cannot marry these two together. I think and it's just really frustrating. Like, I understand why it isn't, because none of the companies want to reduce the amount of like money they get by saying, "Oh yeah, you bought it on that company. I suppose that's a fair license here. Have it as a downloadable thing."
But then that's the question: is
so
if we are only just renting the license, then surely that license could apply to any console.
Yeah, I know, and but it's really frustrating because because I've got stuff scattered all over the place. I've got stuff on GOG I don't have on Steam. I have stuff on Epic I don't have on Steam or GOG. There's stuff on Origin, like Mass Effect Andromeda, that I don't have anywhere else. There's stuff on Uplay because Ubisoft is fucking weird. And the thing is, if one of those things goes bust, that's gone. That's just fucking disappeared into the ether.
Bye bye.
And it's just like, it's really frustrating. It would just suit me better if I could just transfer like stuff, like if it's copied onto multiple stores. I can understand like not being able to transfer like Nintendo games to like Steam or anything. That's fair enough. But like, if there's multiple copies of it, like for example, let's take random thought, Pillars of Eternity. Okay, so there's Pillars of Eternity on GOG, Steam, and some other places. Like, if I've got Pillars of Eternity on Steam, I should be able to download it from GOG and stuff like that. Providing I've got the correct Steam code, the product code that I could say, hey, this is a genuine piece of the game, honest kind of thing, and transfer it from store to store. I should be able to do that. So if something goes out, that's fine. There's another place to get it from. Even if there's just a temporary outage. Like, I'm not saying like if the store is dead in the water permanently, but if there's just an outage for like, I don't know, because stuff happens. Like somebody drops an entire can of cherry Fanta on the server and it goes bust for a couple of minutes, and they go, ah, shit, fuck. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I can get it from somewhere else. You know, it's just,
Funny enough, we had this where the Stadia went tits up,
Yeah.
and for an IO Interactive who made Hitman, I think they came to a deal where they said that they would get, if you had it on Stadia, you'd get like the Steam version for free or something like that. So for the 4 people that bought Stadia and that game, they got that. But yeah, it's you know, again, that's a small scale example. People will say, well, Stadia is an example. I don't think it is, because Stadia doesn't have. Stadia was always going to fail, pretty much.
Yeah.
It didn't have a library.
Yeah, to have a library.
yeah, but like people would say that about like, oh, it's too big to fail about, I don't know, Woolworths.
Woolworths, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. The SVC Bank.
No, I'm not
Like,
saying.
oh yeah, it's too big to fail, and then it's going under. It's like,
Let's talk about physical media. I mean,
I do need to quickly give a shout out to GOG though,
yeah,
because they did actually do the whole sharing thing the
Yeah.
other way.
There was
Because you
the
link your Steam
GOG
account,
Connect. Yeah, you're right.
you could link your Steam account, and any games that they had on their store that you had on Steam, they gave you.
oh
I mean,
really?
that was nice.
that was limited for a particular library. It wasn't for all the games, and I don't know whether the service is still alive.
I
or
think
is
they
it
shut
dead.
that service
think-
down, but
yeah,
I've
it's
still got a bunch of
third-party
games
now.
in my GOG library
Yeah.
that I got because I owned them on Steam.
Yes,
Ah,
yes. I've gotten a lot of games from the GOG Connect. That was a great initiative, and it's really upsetting that it died down.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about physical media now, because of course physical media would be the way to avoid something like that happening, because you got physical media, it's always going to be there. You can slot it in whatever drive it needs, and it works. For example,
providing you've got a CD drive.
providing a C drive. Well, I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about like cartridges, like
Oh yeah.
like my copy of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That will always slot into my Switch. That'll always be there. My only problem, and I will say this, and I think it's very important for everyone to note, we're starting to reach that phase where a lot of old games and old tech is starting to actually deteriorate.
Yep.
Yes.
It's all
Yeah,
breaking.
I know that
Yeah,
phase.
'cause the plastic is breaking. The copper on
Some
the
consoles are
chips
literally
is
rotting.
being eaten. Yeah, they're rotting down.
So not even physical is
True.
not even physical is forever, because you
Yeah.
have the ravages of time to worry about. Which
I mean, CD and DVD drives are also are also getting they moldy. So yeah,
They're wearing out.
they are also wearing out. All of those are, unfortunately, if you don't keep them in a really secure, proper condition where they don't get when no factor is getting to deteriorate them, then maybe. But
plus,
no one has either space or money for that.
Yeah, and like
go on.
you most of the time you're going to be playing these things, so you're wearing it out through use,
Yes.
regardless.
Usage, yeah.
Unless you're a collector, but I don't really think very much of you.
Or
sorry.
unless you're a Wii U.
Oh,
Because
Hey,
that
guys.
no, I'm being serious. There was a news article revealed on 7th of March, which said that if you don't use your Wii U, it can brick itself.
Oh my
Oh, Lord.
god.
Well,
Yep. So this was posted from this is from Geekon. It culminated a console that rode the coattails of the Wii U seems to be killing itself. A new issue has been discovered over on Reddit, claiming that the Wii U eventually becomes corrupted if it isn't used for a long time. Remember the Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death now? It's Nintendo's term. The error is N and corruption that's reportedly unfixable unless an N and backup isn't made before the console corrupts, as it suffers memory errors that practically brick the system. On top of this, Nintendo isn't offering any kind of fixes on the console because it's no longer its flagship.
Of course.
That means that if your Wii U succumbs to the problem that cracks its memory, there is no official way of resuscitating it. So even your physical media, your physical Wii U that is less than 10 years old, can brick just all of a sudden. And let's face it, if you've got that, it's not like you're using that every single day. So that thing's going to be in storage, meaning the likelihood of that game being bricked is high. And as you say, Shadow, if it's not one of those consoles that bricks like that way, you're therefore using it, and therefore it's wearing down over time anyway.
Yeah.
even for the new games, let's say all the games would be physical. Buying games that we have for PC, for Steam, or for Switch, or for PS5, they all take space
Take
that we
space.
don't have that much of. I don't know about you. I love those manuals that explain all the things. I know those additional things that you get, like a poster or something that you were getting in this old games. But back then I would buy maybe 3 games a year.
Yep.
In 2023, I bought already about 50 games.
There you
Yeah.
Yeah.
go.
Where yeah, where
Where would you
where
put them
do
on?
I store them?
Exactly. This is where digital has become a kind of a key front of like it's there. You could just use it for wherever you need it and however you need it for. It's just
Yeah.
such a convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like digital is a big bonus for us, and we're never turning back now from where we are.
No, I'm
But I
not
just
going
think,
back.
yeah, I just think there needs to be some taking responsibility from
Yes.
other
Yeah.
companies to look after their digital games and to provide a service. The thing is, they might think like, oh yeah, we just sell you the game and job's done. Nah, no, we've entered a contract now, you and
If
I.
you're going to say that we're renting it, then you've got to provide us the facilities from which we can rent it from.
Yeah,
It's
landlord.
it's a two-way street, this one, because if they say, oh no, you don't own the game, we are merely renting it from us, in that case, I've paid for this and I'm renting it indefinitely, therefore I should have access to it and the ability to play it indefinitely.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
So
that
if I'm
is
renting it, I want upfront terms.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I need to really look at my contract in that license I'm signing.
Mm. That is the problem. Is I think that is going to be the key problem of the digital future is when we get a console that moves to another console that then's like we're not going to offer you the previous console's library, even though it's digital and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do that. That is when we're going to hit this point of like, okay, we now need you to make some assurances to us about how this is going to work because in my excuse there's no excuse for it. Go on, Lemmy.
And there's also one other thing. I do agree, digital is the future. My entire Steam library, obviously, not nearly 1,000 games, all digital. I barely switch on my consoles because they're under my bed because I have all those games on Steam. I don't buy physical copies of things anymore. Digital's the way of the future, but there's one major thing preventing a just total yes, everyone digital. This is the way we should go, and that's infrastructure.
Yes,
Yes.
agreed.
People in places who are still basically on dial-up speeds can't play with today's systems. It's out.
Yeah.
Even I have a fairly decent connection here. I have a 30 megabyte download. That's pretty decent compared to what I've had in the past. If I, for example, bought The Last of Us right now, I wouldn't be able to play it until tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would also say, like, I've been very lucky with my Wi-Fi connection here. It's always been very good and stuff like that. But I still remember the times when my internet was spotty, unreliable, and would just drop just
Yep.
random points. And from that point on, every time some games come across as like, oh yeah, we're always online. Hey, we always require an internet connection to do our thing. I'm like, no, stop. Stop pretending that everybody lives in the San Francisco Bay Area and always has an internet connection. Some people in like Alaska, in the Scottish Highlands are not going to have an internet connection. Stop it.
Yeah, good luck finding a good internet connection in the middle of the Lake District.
Yeah, just like fucking stop.
Laura's put an interesting point here, which I want to address, which is when you have a moment, maybe add this as an addendum. How about the availability of physical and digital collector's editions and those services that make physical versions of digital only stuff like limited run? How would they sway your decisions, if at all? That's a very
I
good
like
question.
collector's editions.
Yeah.
I like them
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. Physical collector's editions are really cool, and I think for people who want that, then go right ahead, kind of thing. I would always.
May I step away for a moment?
Yeah, of course. I think I know what he's getting.
He is gonna go get his.
Yeah, but for me, it's more a case of I would just buy digital. Like collector's editions don't really do it for me anymore.
No.
Like I'm more I'm a simple woman. If I could just get there, it is.
There it is.
For me, you have to basically offer a good amount of quality stuff. Like, for example, what Lemming's about to show off. Like, I would be swayed by that. But that's the thing is offering good quality. Sorry, Lemming. What word's got there? Good. Also, Lemming, you got some collector's edition, haven't you?
Not next to me, no.
Well, some good quality stuff. Like up there in my corner, that is the Uncharted 3 chest case that I've got up there. You know, I am not beyond getting collector's editions, but offer me some decent stuff. And however, I've not bought a collector's edition for years because space.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is the collector's edition for all Monkey Island games before Return to Monkey Island. It is big. It is now gutted from a lot of things because originally it weighs like 5 kilograms, but it has a lot of cool things. And this is from Limited Games. And I really love this. It has really cool. One of the things it has is a pretty thick book with interviews with the game dev stories about from people who are working on it, with illustrations really beautifully printed. So the things like that, I have something that Shadow was talking about, the Make a Pirate.
Dollar Pirate.
Which is the copyright protection wheel from the original Monkey Island game. So that kind of thing is absolutely. Oh, one more thing. Disc 22.
Disc 22.
Hey!
So that kind of thing is awesome. But also, let me show you once again. This fucking thing is huge.
Huge.
I would not be able to buy this for anything other than, you know, very select games once in a while.
That's the thing.
So,
it's something that needs to be very select, and also that's the thing. If it's gonna be select, it's gotta be high quality.
Yeah,
it's got to be high quality.
It's gotta be high quality.
Then you got somebody like me.
Yeah, so like if
my dude.
But yeah, like
so
for me. No, you first.
Just if Limited Run made a like Mortal Kombat anthology released with like a figure of Scorpion or Raiden looking and books like that and extras, I would absolutely buy that, but probably nothing more because I don't want to like clutter I would definitely not be able to buy every game.
I'm someone who is very particular with their collector's editions these days. Where in fact the way that it would sway me, Laura, is if I had an a la carte option for collector's editions. Like they say, okay, here's the collector's editions. You can have as much of the stuff you want in this, and basically it will scale the price accordingly. So if I don't want the figurine, I can just say I don't want the figurine, and they'll take that off the price. But I do want that digital artwork. I do want the booklet and things. Then I would definitely go for something like that, because that to me is like I'm getting what I want, not a box of junk that I don't care about. As for digital editions, I tend to go for digital deluxe editions because they usually come with extra DLC and stuff. Although I think that the company, like a PC, but yeah, exactly like a PC building menu. What I don't like is where there are companies who are like, we have the normal edition, we have the deluxe edition, we have the special ultra version, we have the super deluxe. Yep, yeah. Basically, give me two editions, maybe a collector's edition with physical stuff, because that's physical, that's different, and that's it. Don't start to be like give me like 4 or 5 different editions. Give me standard, deluxe, and then collectors.
That reminds me how good it is that Square Enix no longer owns Deus Ex. It's amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what company I think actually foresaw the digital revolution coming?
Go on.
Bethesda.
Mm.
They released Wolfenstein: The New Order, and they released a collector's edition called the Panzerhund Edition that didn't come with the game.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, they made a limited run collector's edition of the game that didn't have the game in because I think they were assuming that most people were going to be buying it digitally.
That's
Makes
So if you wanted the
That
cool
makes,
shit
I
that would have
don't know,
usually come with
for
the
me
game,
that
you
makes
could have
sense
bought
in
it.
hindsight.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But then
for
to
me
me,
that,
why wouldn't you
for
just
me that
include?
makes completely no sense. Really.
Yeah, it's like why wouldn't you then just include like a digital
Yeah.
copy of the game?
I know
in...
it made
Yeah.
no sense when they
Yeah.
did it. It still kind of
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, but
Yeah.
it was there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was very tempted to buy it for a long time.
Yeah, no, I have trying to think. I don't think I've ever actually I've bought digital deluxes a couple of times, but I think
Mm.
no, I have bought one collector's edition, and that was SimCity.
Ah,
That was
Mm.
SimCity 5.
Oh,
And I
you.
think
Uh,
yeah, that burned me something fierce. And I think the reason why I only get digital deluxes occasionally and I don't get collector's edition anymore, especially physical collector's editions, I've never gotten one of those, is
Mm.
because one, I'm a simple woman and I just want my game, thanks. And if I want I
Yeah.
want the soundtrack later, I'll get it. And that's the thing. Like
fair.
the game's like, hey, it's me, buy me as a collector's edition, winky like
Yeah.
fluttering eyelashes, and I'm like, you've literally not proven yourself to me. Like, be a game that I actually give a shit about, and maybe I'll buy stuff. Like, the reason why I get stuff for like,
but you get cool shit with collector's edition.
yeah, but like, I can get cool shit after
That's true.
I've proved the game's
True,
proved
yeah.
itself. Like Kane and
Yeah.
Lenko
Yeah.
here. Like, I'll get cool shit for
True.
the games that are I actually love and enjoy.
I
And
still have
because like
somewhere.
if I get like a collector's edition and some I'll be honest, I'll be personally honest, like if I get a collector's edition and I end up with some cheap tat of a game that I don't enjoy, then I feel like I've wasted my fucking money and I've wasted space, and all it's going to do is go in a charity bag.
That's the
So,
thing is,
charity
I
shop.
don't mind getting stuff so long as the stuff is quality. Like,
Yeah.
like if I get stuff that's like this is cheap shit, then it's like that is, which I know that they got to make a money, but at the same time, if you like,
You could save money by not
by
making
not
this.
making it, and there's only one collector's edition which has actually teased me recently, and that is the Jedi Survivor one. And the only reason I wouldn't is because that lightsaber bumps that price up considerably. And also it doesn't come with the blade, which is like, why are you gonna send me a lightsaber and not give me the fucking blade?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, like I don't want to buy a lightsaber hilt. I want the whole. I want the whole.
no, I want the lightsaber hilt, but unfortunately that just pumps the price up so much that I just can't afford it.
But I got to say, what Shadow was proposing is a much better idea, where you can buy a collector's edition for a game that you've already played a few times, that you love, that you have some sort of emotional bond with. That
Yeah,
makes
like
sense. This is why I bought the Mortal Kombat collector's edition and Monkey Island collector's edition.
yeah, like
I mean,
I'm not going to stop anybody from buying a collector's edition of a game they know they're going to really love and really want. That's perfectly fine. For me, that just doesn't cut it because I just have I have a higher personal standard to that a game needs to impress me, kind of thing. And I do like I will say I really do appreciate games that have like pre-order bonuses and digital deluxe stuff, but then have them available to purchase afterwards.
Oh
Like
yes.
I'm gonna say like Paradox is very good for stuff like that. Like they'll have these pre-order bonuses, but they're usually like a digital. They're like a digital deluxe DLC later on. And I'm gonna have to say it, but WoW's pretty good for that. WoW of recent has been pretty good with this, having its collector's edition bonuses, like the in-game bonuses, not the physical stuff, which I kind of understand. It's still a bit shitty, but understandable. Having them as like, oh, if you actually enjoy this expansion and want this later, you can buy it, kind of thing. And I think we've agreed that that the prices on the Battle.net store are a little bit high. Like I was like, oh no, it's fine, and you guys were like, no, Shadow, that's 20 quid for a mount. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I still have somewhere in my cupboard like a box this big of the BioShock 2 Collector's Edition, which comes with a vinyl record.
I have 2. Once again, going back to Bird's idea that you need space for these things.
Yeah.
I moved into this, room of mine a couple of years ago. It's been like 2.5 years ago at this point. And that was moved from a flat that I had the entire flat to myself. So I had stuff in the living room. I had to condense that down. So now I have the collector's editions of Halo Reach, Halo 4, and Gears of War 3 in their boxes next to my bed because I don't have space for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is another reason I don't buy collector's edition. I haven't got the space for them.
Yeah.
Very simple.
But also, sorry.
This fucking thing.
Yeah. If I may return to what Elle said about the thing that it should be quality, I wanted to remind everyone, and I'll put it in the news.
Are we going to talk about
Marvel versus Capcom Infinite?
Oh,
the collector's edition.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was thinking you were going to go canvas bags for a second.
Are you?
I was
right?
thinking 76.
No. I mean, canvas bag is another thing. Yeah.
Are you all right, Lemming?
Just seeing those things again just gave me.
Which, for the audience at home, first of all,
no, the Chaos Emerald, the Chaos Eggs.
Yeah, the Chaos Eggs. But for anyone at home who's curious what we're talking about,
they're Easter eggs.
We're talking about this. Yeah. This is ever the image of what you should get. So on the left is the promotional image for the Infinity Stones. On the right is what you actually got.
Eggs.
You got eggs.
You got Kinder eggs.
And they won't even have chocolate in them.
No.
They don't even light up.
They weren't tasty at all.
They don't even light up. They don't even do anything. That's the thing is like if they actually looked like gems and they lit up and things, I'm like fantastic. That I'll be all for that.
Yeah,
but
they were supposed to be Infinity Stone and instead they are
from what I remember. Eggs. Yeah, from what I remember, they do light up, but the only way they can light up is if you never remove them from the box.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got better stuff from like UK Games Expo.
Yeah. I bought that for you.
Yeah.
I spent £15 online at one point, and I have a little display box in my cabinet over there with the 7 Dragon Balls in it.
Yeah, fans will make stuff that is a lot higher quality than the actual corporations because the fans actually care.
Yeah, like I've seen proper I mean Lewis has like a foam keyblade that has been made that was made at UK Games Expo. I mean, I have my sword here. Like this is the most generic sword I could find on sale because the other stuff was like Sword Art Online stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want any. And there was a Frostmourne.
We're watching that together.
And there was a Frostmourne on there, and I was like, I do not want to. Like, I don't want a Morn Blade in my house.
I don't want to be a Lich Queen. No.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want a Morn Blade in my house. Thank you. But people will make like really really good stuff. Like some of the cosplay that people will make, and like have you seen like the little terraniums that there's an artist that makes them. There's little Pokemon terranium. Like they're not terraniums, but they're little things. They're like a little bottle, and they've got little plants in the bottle with Pokemon and stuff like that. It's so cute. I think Cadicarus got like one. It was so cute. I need to find them. But yeah, there's some beautiful, decent, beautiful stuff. And then some of the stuff that fans could do, and then actual companies will just shout out something, and it's just like
here's the thing. I also got the Fallout 4 collector's edition.
Oh yeah.
The steel case that for the game that came with it had a little card in with the Steam code. Mm-hmm. That was it. It's like, why bother with the steel case then? But the Pip-Boy you got with it was very nice. You know, it's plastic with a couple of metal bits, but it was very nice. The only problem was it didn't actually do anything. You had to have a phone with an app to do the Pip-Boy stuff.
Boo!
Yeah, that sucks.
It looks nice in my cabinet, but
That's about it.
yeah, that's literally it.
So quickly going back to the argument, physical versus
Yes.
digital. Would anyone here argue that physical is the way to go?
Don't
I
think
think-
so.
I think it has a place with
I
digital
agree.
media.
Oh, it does, yes. I'm not
But
saying.
I don't think we should reverse course and go back to it.
What? No,
Yeah.
what I'm
No,
mean is
no.
like over digital. I mean,
Oh, no.
naturally,
I
physical has its
don't-
place, but
Yeah, I don't think it's over digital. I think we have to accept that we are going into a digital future that is going to be the future.
Yeah.
Physical will never die out. Like it's like when people were like, ebooks will supersede like real books, and that never happened. That won't happen. Never
Yeah.
will. So I think it's just going to be the same as this. I just think that there needs to be more responsibility taken with digital media.
more responsibility, more infrastructure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, can I just say, they would get a lot more people on board if they were cheaper on digital.
Yeah.
Because they
Can-
already
can I-
they go on, yeah, go on.
Yeah. Just finish your thing. I've got two things to say on this whole subject.
Uh-huh.
So as you were saying, you finish off first.
Well, yeah. So I feel like if they actually, because they don't have to print the discs, they save a lot of money by doing that. They have to distribution and storage in actual stores as well. That's a lot of money for them to do that. They're saving quite a lot by selling games digitally, and I feel like they're not passing it on to consumer. They're just charging the same price and getting away with it. And I feel like they're then telling us, "Oh, we now need to hike gaming prices." What I think they should have done is say, "We'll hike the physical games, but we'll keep the digital games the same price as like to compensate."
Yeah,
And-
like
Yeah.
the fact that Square Enix is thinking it could charge 70 quid now is just getting fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry.
That's why I haven't paid him.
Mm. So yeah, I personally do think that they need to, if we're gonna go in this future, they need to probably give digital a bit more like, okay, digital is gonna be cheaper because we then save money. We could pass that savings on to you. That makes us look good as companies, and or better yet, we've seen that they are increasing the cost of games in general. Say, okay, do you know what? We're not going to increase the cost of digital games. We're just going to do it for physical games, and then when we finally if we eventually phase them out, then maybe we'll increase digital games. But for now, if you're buying digital, you're getting a cheaper game than a digital copy.
Right. When it comes to digital versus physical, physical should still deserve to be around. There should, it's people who, in areas where you don't have good download speeds, for example, there should be the possibility of putting a disc in and having the gameplay.
Choice.
And with that, one major bugbear with modern gaming: the discs. Don't hold the
Yes.
fucking games on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How
they
many
only have
modern
Steam
games-
installer.
Yeah, exactly. How many modern games, such as the Call of Duties, the modern AAA titles for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, you get the disc, and all it is on the disc is a code saying, "Yes, you own this game now. Download from the store."
Yeah.
I fucking hate
Yeah.
I
For PCs, yes. For consoles, I still think there's some stuff on the console games.
For consoles, there are still discs with contents. That's true.
Yeah, but even then, it's a
But,
case
yeah,
of
but-
day one, 80 GB patch.
But
Yeah,
that's
but for
Yeah.
PC. But for PC, the only physical disc with actual game that I bought for the last physical disc with physical game that I bought for a long time was StarCraft 2, which was fucking 12 years ago.
don't get me started on Call of Duty.
Yeah,
I will
like,
get
I'm
so
pretty
angry.
sure one of the most recent Call of Duties was literally just either an install file or a code to download from the store
Yeah,
I
and it
don't
was
on
know.
consoles.
and
Yeah.
it was fucking bigger than WoW's install is.
Um,
I'm
And
so mad about that.
that needs to stop if people are actually going to. If you want a physical game, make a actual copy of the game run. If I buy a physical game, I want it to work without having to download anything.
I think you're talking about a day one patch is an interesting subject, but I think that's a bit different because there's time between when a game goes gold and a game is released.
Not even a day one patch, just like the discs that are literally just
It's
not
just
even
a
installer,
download.
just
That's fair.
download.
Yeah. I agree with that. That is ridiculous.
And that's becoming increasingly a problem in everything. And I'm trying to remember what the second thing I was going to talk about was. Does anybody else have anything to say while I'm trying to remember this?
I do. Two things that I have regarding the physical and digital. One with the prices. It's like, yeah, they are pretty expensive for the for the resident of UK or USA, but the countries that it hits the biggest are those countries where the prices will be the same, but the average salary, like in UK, it's like £3,000, like average salary. But say in Poland, it is
a month.
It is a month. Yeah.
I wish I was getting paid
I'm on half
$3,000 a month.
of that.
Yeah, 3,000 a month. I'm
Or
not.
or is it 2,000? Maybe it's 2,000.
I'm on 1,500 a month.
I don't get 2,000 either.
Yeah.
No.
But like in Poland, it's £800 a month. That's the average salary or the median. Or like in Brazil, where it's like $100,000.
Oh yeah, Brazil is really bad.
So yeah, so in those countries you still have to pay for a game something like 10% of your monthly salary, which is not great.
No,
and that is because instead of finding out a way for the storefronts not to be able to be abused by people who are buying games on the cheap from the poorer markets, or just not giving a crap about that, all the companies just decided to sell the digital games for the same price everywhere, which is absolutely infuriating. So that's one thing that I have a problem with. But in general, I am all for digital, but I would really want to, and if there are any initiatives that would be doing it, I am all for those initiatives to be selling those digital games like GOG does, like GOG does, where you can download the game, you can store it physically on your own storage device. You can have your physical copy of the game that you bought digitally. Your mic is muted, though.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that would be the good compromise that you could, but for at least for PCs, is the idea of, okay, you now own the download for this game. There you go. You can now rip that to a CD. I think there might be some issues of copyright protection or something. I don't maybe.
Well, so long as you get the installer probably would still have to check.
That's true.
It would still have to check with the online thing, or it would receive like a check code when it's downloaded, and then it's just like, and then it tries to talk again, and it's just like, nah, this has already been used. What the fuck are you doing? I think that would be how you would do it. It's just like it has to check with the internet once, and then.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I
remembered what my thing was.
Oh, what was your thing?
When is the gaming community going to apologize to Microsoft?
For the backwards compatibility thing.
Well, not just the backwards compatibility thing, the digital only thing. Remember at E3 when they were promoting the Xbox One, and they said in front of the giant crowd of people, "We're getting rid of discs. It's going to be digital only," and everyone fucking booed.
In fairness, though, we didn't know what was coming next.
Yeah, that was the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 were the last kind of like the era where it was non-digital. It was the first. I could understand the hesitance then. Like, it's the same reason why Sony didn't do that. And then when they did the PlayStation 5, they said, we're gonna have a disc and a non-disc version, so you can pick up what you need. like how I imagine the next one will probably just be no disc at all.
It's just the fact that everyone was like booing them so horrifically. They got trashed on social media everywhere.
Absolutely.
And then, on very short notice, Sony did this is how you loan your friends games. Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, it was fucking funny.
It was funny.
It was like, yeah, that's how you do it, yeah. And then, Sony stock rose a few percentages.
But again, this was during a time when digital was not really at the forefront of future.
We were only just moving in.
We were only just
anybody who had a Steam library was just like, yeah, that's what I've been doing for years.
Yeah, well, that's what got me thinking about all this. I'm like, why are console people getting all their tits in a bunch when this is exactly how PC's been operating for so long? Like, where's the last? Go on.
I think it was more the pre-owned market is much bigger in consoles.
Yeah.
And I understand why Microsoft wanted to curb that, because it's a big market that the companies don't like, because it's essentially, I mean, EA had a whole fucking thing with its Dragon Age games about trying to curb that. But yeah, that's why people fought against it in consoles for a very long time. And there still is a pre-owned market for console games, just not as big as it used to.
I mean, the thing is, if you look at pre-owned games now, they're all the same price as they were if they were new.
Especially if they're Nintendo games.
Oh yeah,
especially Nintendo games. But if you walk into an Entertainment Exchange or any other pre-owned game store on the planet right now, most modern console games are the same price as they would be if you bought them new.
Nintendo games do not depreciate in value. We've discussed this before. No. That's because they've got a stranglehold on that. Nintendo do.
So now the pre-owned basically the pre-owned stores have realized people aren't going to give us up. Let's just scalp them for as much money as we can get away with. So games that you used to be able to buy for £10 after the first year, no, they're still 30, 40.
At least you can get some. If you're lucky, you can get some like really good old games in there. I've found some gems in mine.
Same.
So yeah, it is still my opinion that for that foresight, I think Microsoft deserves a bit of an apology.
They do. It's difficult because
in hindsight,
yeah. In hindsight, yes.
For a corporation.
In hindsight, yes. But they chose the wrong moment to push that direction.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they deserve an apology for that, because at that time that was a very bad decision.
That was a very bad decision at that time. Yeah.
At that time, where there was very little coverage, where very little internet coverage, and most people wanted to have physical discs for all the good reasons. That was a bad decision back then. It's a completely different situation 7 years from then now, where the internet is much better and much bigger part of the world.
It still needs improving.
Makes sense now. It has proven to be a good decision now, but yeah.
I mean, from that logic, are you going to say that the Ouya deserves an apology because now Game Pass is a thing?
The what?
Exactly.
The
what?
The Ouya. Basically, it's a console that was released in 2013. It doesn't matter.
I thought that isn't that a Marine cry? Ouya.
Ouya. Yes.
Ouya. I was about to make a comment about Virtual Boy.
The Android-based micro console.
Yeah. But yeah.
R.I.P.
It's one of those things that I think that while I get what you're saying, Lemming, at the same time I'm like, no, they don't, because at that moment they made the wrong choice to push in that direction. They were thinking they were ahead of their time. The unfortunate thing is the market was not prepared for it.
No. That and the infrastructure still needs improving.
Like, if they did that today, then they would certainly not get the backlash that they did at that time.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna apologize for them, considering what they're doing right now.
I mean, yes. Like I said, apology for that bit. They are still a corporation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also the whole thing of like, oh yeah, we'll make sure Call of Duty is available on all consoles, because it's important that people have access to things.
Nudge, wink, wink.
Nudge, wink, wink. You said that about the Bethesda games, didn't you? Yes, yes. And then you said that, and now you recently said that that Elder Scrolls 6 can be nothing but an exclusive, didn't you? Yes, yes, we did. Yeah, so
unfortunately, the UK,
folded like an
Government
accordion.
disagreed with
Yeah.
them.
yeah.
Yeah, someone must have gotten really right.
Don't get me wrong. If it was Sony, they'd be doing the exact same shit. My point is, we can't
Yeah.
fucking trust a company with
No, they're
the
still
control.
corporations. They still deserve every single middle finger on the planet aimed directly at them.
We cannot
Well,
trust them. Like if Solaris, I'm okay with. It's a new IP. Once an IP goes multi-platform, there's no going back, in my opinion. There's no going back.
Yep, 100%.
Starlink.
Yes.
Laura says, yes, the amazing frog machine, as it was in my old uni house. Referring to Ouya.
There you go.
You had an Ouya?
I know a friend who got an Ouya.
I thought an Ouya are those wooden boards that you use to talk to the dead.
No, that's Ouija.
That's a Ouija. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if
you're thinking of the green? You're thinking of the green plumber.
Can you imagine if you released a console called the Ouija? That's...
Immediate copy straight from Nintendo.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo decided to call their console that.
The
Oh my God.
Nintendo Ouija.
I would be okay with that. Not the Switch 2, the Ouija. Like,
The
okay,
Ouija.
okay.
Don't tell Kirk Hammett.
No,
or even better, a Waluigi.
Burr wins the internet for the night. But yeah, it's no, Nintendo. When you're coming out with the success of the Switch, don't be coy. Don't be too smart for your own good. Just call it the fucking Switch 2 and be done with it.
Yep.
Just don't fuck up when you're this far. You're ahead. You don't do it. Oh, don't call it the Switch U. Don't call it the U Switch. Don't listen to this woman down below.
It's I mean, it's Nintendo. They're gonna go the DS road. It's gonna be like new Switch or Switch Pro. Then it's gonna be new Switch. Then it's gonna be Switch XL.
The only one I will accept is the Super Switch, but even that could only last for one successor, and that's it. You know,
the new Switch.
No.
The new Switch.
We're not gonna do like the new Super Switch or the new Switch or just call it the fucking Switch 2. Just add a fucking for the first time in your history, Nintendo, add a fucking number to your console.
Switch 360.
That's not 64. That's not 64.
The new Switch 2.4 recurring.
Switch.
Let's end this before we all lose our minds.
Someone save me.
Never.
Only the gremlin.
Oh, dear me.
Yes.
Right. Yes, that's been this episode of the Common Nets podcast. I'm going to slowly go insane. And I want to thank my Switch Go-Go play. Oh, Jesus.
They have.
Yes.
No, hear me out.
No. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be the Go-Go Switch.
Oh, dear.
No.
Oh, no.
They have Nintendo Switch. Now it's time for Nintendo Flip.
Yes. and then the tap it. Nintendo tap it. Pop it. Twist it.
I'd buy the Nintendo Bop It, I swear.
Yes. The new Just Dance. Nintendo Bop It.
I'd like to thank my fellow inmates, Burr, Lemming,
Bye.
Shadow.
I'm here all night.
My name's been E-Back, and Laura signs off with a Nintendo button. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
And we could maybe.
Oh, that's a good idea. We're ready, scarf. Stick around, everyone.